Hi Apple lovers, and welcome to the Tech Hub, and welcome to my Apple Retro series where I review old Apple tech to see if it still functions and find any uses in 2024. This episode looks at the first generation iPad, which was released in 2010. Is it still usable in 2024? Let's find out. Let's start the episode. Okay, so here it is. I haven't opened it yet. This was delivered 2 days ago and I've held off on opening it for this video. Quick note, Yodel, terrible service, just dumped it on my doorstep even though I requested they go to a neighbor because I wasn't in. Anyway, so the reason I came across this, I was doing my usual Apple search to buy cheap tech so I could resell it. And this just cropped up and I went for it. I'm super excited about checking this out. This really made me fall in love with Apple, this first generation iPad. So let's check out the history before we open it. So let's delve into the history of the first ever iPad. On January the 27th, 2010, Steve Jobs took to the stage at an Apple press event to introduce a groundbreaking new device, the iPad. Apple began accepting pre-orders from the US customers on March the 12th, and the Wi-Fi version of the iPad was officially released in the United States on April 3rd. The Wi-Fi plus 3G model followed shortly after launching on April the 30th. Then, on May the 28th, the iPad became available in Australia, Canada, France, Japan, Italy, Germany, Spain, Switzerland, and the United Kingdom. Initially, the iPad could only be purchased through Apple's online store and retail locations. Steve Jobs positioned the iPad as a device that filled the gap between the iPhone and the Mac, a vision that history has proven correct. Even though today there's still debates about the iPad replacing a laptop, that was never its intention and Steve Jobs' vision. So get over it. It's not a replacement, it's a new device category. Interestingly, Jobs later revealed that Apple had started developing the iPad before the iPhone, but decided to focus on the iPhone first after realizing its potential. The decision paid off. The first iPad sold an impressive 15 million units. At its launch in 2010, the iPad was priced at $499 for the base Wi-Fi model with 16 gigs of storage. Customers could opt for more storage with the 32 gig model priced at $599 and the 64 gig model at $699. In addition to these Wi-Fi models, Apple also offered the Wi-Fi plus 3G versions, which were priced at $130 higher than the Wi-Fi only counterparts. Steve Jobs got it spot on, and this really created that tablet market. I know people that don't have iPads, they have Samsung tablets, other tablets, they still refer to them as iPads. He was a genius to introduce this device. Now let's talk about the original specification of this device. The first generation iPad was powered by Apple's A4 system on a chip, featuring a 1 GHz processor and 256 megabytes of RAM. It also had a PowerVR SGX 535 GPU. The device included 4 physical buttons: the iconic home button near the display, which returned users to the main menu, along with the wake, sleep, and volume up and down buttons on the sides. The iPad's touchscreen was 9.7-inch liquid crystal display with a resolution of 1024 by 768 pixels, resulting in pixel density of 132 pixels per inch. The screen was designed with fingerprint and scratch-resistant glass and durability. Storage options for the first generation iPad included 16 gigabytes, 32 gigabytes, or 64 gigabytes, and it weighed in at 1.5 pounds. Its dimensions were 9.56 by 7.47 by 0.5 inches. Notably, the first generation iPad did not include any cameras. Now let's talk about the software. So the iPad originally shipped with iPhone OS 3.2, laying the foundation for its user experience. Then on November the 22nd, 2010, Apple released iOS 4.2.1 to the public, bringing significant updates to the device. The update introduced a range of built-in applications, including Safari, Mail, Photos, Video, iPod, iTunes Store, App Store, Maps, Notes, Calendar, and Contacts, enhancing the iPad's functionality and usability. So this is way before iPad OS was even thought of. It originally ran just pretty much what the iPhone ran. And originally, a lot of the apps, if they weren't optimized for the display, would be the size of the iPhone. At the time, this was an iPhone 4, so that small display. You did have a 2x button to make it balloon up, but it literally just stretched it. Yeah, great software. So it's now time to finally open this package. I'm so excited. I remember buying this. I think it was late 2010. I purchased it from Currys. Obviously, I could have got it sooner, but it just wasn't available at any other retailer. As soon as it started shipping out to other retailers, it became available. So I think I waited for that second stock replenishment when it was no longer waiting weeks to get it. And I just at the time, I had just got my first iMac in 2010. I think I was on the iPhone 4 at the time, and those were my first two ever Apple devices. So this is why this is so nostalgic and why I'm so excited about it. And like I said, I came across this on eBay. I wasn't particularly looking for it. It's just something I stumbled upon and inspired this episode. Let's talk about that eBay listing. The title was Apple iPad First Gen, 64 gigabytes, 9.7 inches in silver. I believe they used AI for the description, because it says this Apple iPad First Gen 64 gig 9.7 inch in silver is a great device for all your computing needs. The iPad has a large storage capacity of 64 gigabytes, ensuring that you have enough space for all your apps, photos, and videos. Now, I will probably come to sell this. I will highlight the fact that it is a vintage product. It's a collector's item, really, and not really designed for computing needs. However, that's what this episode is looking at today. So we will see. As for the condition, all it says is it is still in good working condition. The photos show it working, also with a box, the charger, and a plug. The back does show some cosmetic signs on the photos. So I'm just expecting this to work. I'm not expecting a fabulous device. I've waited long enough. Let me open this. I'm just chuffed I found one in a box. You know what I mean? Price wise, I guess if I was hunting for it, I'd probably expect to pay about £50. This one actually cost me less, well, not including the shipping, cost me less than £10. Yes. Look at that. I'm just transported back. Look, it's fantastic. Shall we open it and see the condition? Box is not in bad condition at all. A bit of discoloration on the labels on the back. Let's check. This is a box for a 16 gigabyte version. So I do hope it is 64 gigabytes. That's very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Of course, if it is 64 gigabytes, it's the top tier model minus the 3G. Okay. Interesting. Still has the original wrapping. Okay. Let's set that aside for a second. The original card and the instruction manual. I don't even want to sell this thing. It didn't really cost me much, like I said. I might not even sell it. Let's see. Obviously not the original plug, but it does have two USB at the bottom. I doubt this is original either, but of course it's the original 30 pin, I believe it is. I've actually already got one for the old iPods that I've done episodes on. Okay, now I'm not going to get the same feeling, but let's have a look. Oh, I don't want to tear it too much. It's certainly silver. Let's see what the box says about the color. Doesn't say the color on the box, so there's still hope that this is just a different box and it is 64. Look at that thing. Now I am expecting some cosmetic damage on the back, there is a slight indentation here, some scratches, but overall it's not too shabby at all considering this is 14 years old. Look how thick it is. Wow. Let me give the screen a wipe before I really check it out. Oh, minor surface scratches. I mean, there's one predominantly here and here, but actually, wow, that is not in bad condition at all. Let's turn it on. Okay, doesn't look like they actually turned it off at all. Battery says 28%. Oh, it is that, remember that old click sound of an iPhone. Right, so what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna hook this up to my computer, see what software version it's on, see if we can update that software, and I'm gonna test it out. Okay, so I've got it all set up, ready next to my Mac Studio. I'm gonna plug it into my Mac Studio, and let's see what happens. Well, I don't know if you heard that, but that's a classic sound of charging. Here we go. It is the 64 gig model. Whoop whoop, I'm so happy. On running iOS 5.1.1. Now what I do with every new device that I get, I always do a restore. That way it does delete the software completely, reinstalls it. So I'm going to do that and we will see what version it installs. It's the same version. So this is the most up-to-date software it's going to install, which is iOS 5.1.1. So let's let it do its thing. So I'm just sat here waiting for it to update, but I just wanted to show you the classic Apple logo. It has that little slit from the left-hand side going through it and the classic loading bar. This is so nostalgic, and like I said, this really is the device that got me passionate about technology and made me fall in love with Apple. This isn't taking too long. It wasn't a very big update. It was only about 750 megabytes. So I'll cut back to it when it's finished and we'll give it a test. Okay, so it has finished restoring now. So let's click into it. Looks like it's going to activate it. It's asking me if I want to restore it. I better not. It's just going to say that it needs a certain iPad OS, which it doesn't have. Here we go. It's syncing and backing up. So let's test this thing out and see what I can still use it for in 2024. Okay, so now it's updated. Let's see what we can do with it and go through the startup process. English. Interestingly, it's not charging through my USB port on my Mac Studio. Germany. For some reason, any device that I use in this country automatically goes to Germany. So UK, enable location services. Here we go. Let's see if it does. Oh, it's detected Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is working. Oh, there's just those clicks. It just sounds like an iPhone. It's so nostalgic. Looks like we're on the Wi-Fi. I think it's going to work. Yes, we are in. Okay. Fantastic. This might take a few minutes to set up your Apple ID. Probably many minutes. Let's see. Let's see how it does. Ooh. I believe they turned off the iCloud for the photos. But anyway, let's use iCloud and see what happens. Back up to the iCloud. Okay, if you can do it. Now, off the top of my head, I don't think they had. Oh, use Find My iPad. There we go. Get that radar. Yes, let's send them diagnostic. I'm sure they would love to know. Wow, it's there. Oh my God, it's actually working. I've also had a prompt come up on my Mac saying the device has been added to my iCloud. Shall we see what will work? Well, let's check Safari first. Let's do a Google search. I'm going to test the Wi-Fi speed. So let's see what happens there. Google is working. Just internet speed. Hold on to your hats. Usually on my up-to-date devices, that's at like 450, 600. But hey, it's connecting to Wi-Fi. Let's try. Did that look like a crash to me? Let's have a look for Apple's website. Let's see how Apple loads on an Apple device. Always interesting. Apple United Kingdom. Here we go. It's not loading any artwork in Google. Oh, looks like it's loading. Wow, there's something special about the era of spatial computing is here, that being the first thing we land on the original iPad. I mean, it's working. It's not as intended, as you can see, but you can certainly access it. Let's see if we can learn more about the Vision Pro. With that speed test, look, it's slow. The information is there. Not expecting it to load all the photos. Oh, that looks like another crash as well. Okay. Messages. I don't even know if well, okay. Okay, that classic. Calendar. Wow. It's like a book. Oh, my calendars are there. I reckon they're just loading. Oh, it's just like a book. Look at that. Oh, I like it. Book. It's doing its thing in the background. I think it's going to load iCloud in a minute. Let's have a look at notes. Oh, the yellow pages. That is fantastic. Doesn't look like it's got iCloud notes. I mean, nothing's trying to load either. Reminders. Oh, it's got exclamation mark. Not sure what the exclamation mark is. No, not seeing much there. Wow. Let's have a look at the maps. Wow. Well, look at that. Fantastic. Okay, YouTube, the classic YouTube pre-installed app. Cannot connect to YouTube. Boo. Ah, so nostalgic as well. Videos, let's see what the options are here. No videos. You can download videos from iTunes. Okay, we'll see if I can drag a video across. And it does have all of my contacts in. Super happy with that. And again, it's just like a book. Game Center. This is, oh, the old green felt. Look at this. Incredible. Okay, so let's see what other apps still work. So iTunes. Cannot connect to iTunes Store. App Store. Nope. Now in my research for this video, I kind of expected that. You can jailbreak these iPod devices and then use those app stores on the jailbreaks, but I'm not going to do that. Newsstand, this was classic. You used to be able to download books and magazines and they would be there, but you have to download it from the App Store. Now it's synced. I'm interested to see. Here we go. Calendar is working with my iCloud. I don't think Notes is. No iCloud in Notes. Now, even though YouTube doesn't work, let's see if YouTube will work. Now, the other couple of times I've tried Safari, it's crashed. So let's have a look. Cannot, okay. This browser is no longer supported. So no YouTube at all. So some websites will work, some won't. Let's see if photos. No, of course, there's no iCloud photos, and the photo stream they turned off as well. So that's not even an option. Let's now music. Again, I've had this with older iPods. I am shortly going to test out on my computer, transfer some music, a video. We'll also see if we can transfer any photos as well from my computer. So that'd be interesting. Let's have a look at the settings app. Airplane mode, Wi-Fi, notifications. Okay. Location services, brightness and wallpaper. I love this classic wallpaper. Wow, look at these. I always like the earth one. That's a good one. I think I used to have this one on as well. We'll leave it on the default one. Picture frame. This is where you could, with your photos, turn it into a photo frame. It was awesome, and it would play the slideshow. So this is the slideshow options. The usual stuff here. We know it's already up to date. It'd be interesting if it sees anything over the air updates, which on the original one you couldn't do over the air updates. You'd have to plug it in like an iPod and do it. There we go. No, it's up to date. No other ones there. iTunes Wi-Fi sync. This is where you could do it wirelessly, which was a bit intermittent for me, but it did work. Passcode, you can do a passcode for it. You can also change the side switch. Let's see if these buttons work actually. Volume's working. There we go. It's a up and down, so it's set to mute, but you can lock the rotation as well. Multitask gestures. Wow. So mail is there. Twitter, this was kind of ingrained. Now the install button's not working. If you hit the install, it would just take you to the App Store. Obviously the App Store isn't working, but it used to be built in. Safari, look, you can change the search engine, but only to Yahoo and Bing. That's funny. iMessage is on, show read receipts. EQ sound check, here we go. You can also log in for home sharing. I might see if that works in a minute actually when I go back to the computer. Let's just check home as well. Oh, I'm there, I'm video. I'm going to log into those. Let's go back to the computer and see if we can get any music, video or photos on it. Okay, so let's see if we can get some music on this thing. Here we go. This is from where I tested some iPods. So this is download music. Now you won't be able to put Apple Music on there, just your downloaded files or any manual files, let's call them. So I'm very confident this will work when it comes to the music because it works fine on the iPod. So look, it's syncing them, look. Photos. Let's see. Preparing to sync. And it looks like it is going to transfer the photos. What it's probably done there, it's because I use iCloud for the photo storage. It's probably downloaded the files, which is what I think it was doing. They're not necessarily that big. I'm glad I've got a 64 gig version though. So we'll leave that copying those photos. And then we'll see if we can upload a video file. Okay, so it's downloaded most of the photos. It does say some photos in your library were not copied to the iPad because they are not downloaded. Open the Photos app and download the originals. So it's downloaded about half of them. So we'll check that out again in a minute. Let's see if we can get a video file. Okay, so I successfully got it to add that video. I imported it to iMovie, exported it as a 720p video. So we've uploaded music, photos and a video. I did just try home sharing, and even though I've put my details in, it's not showing anything from my library on the iPad, but let's see if what I just syncs works. Okay, so let's see if that sync worked. Let's start off with photos. Yay! So this was from our trip from Menorca last year. Excellent. I'm sure he won't mind me sharing his photo. It's me and my buddy David. Look at that. Photos is working gloriously. Look at that. Fantastic. See if the slideshow works. And it's working as a slideshow as well. Fantastic. Excellent. Good to see. So next, I really want my logo to work. There it is. Come on. Now, I don't think there'll be any music. I'm pretty sure it's a soundless track anyway. There is my logo loop. Here we go. And last, oh, did you see that animation? Closing doors. Look at that. And lastly, here we go. Oh, it's really not loud. Oh, that is really quite tinny. I'm not sure how well my microphone's going to pick it up. It's very tinny, but it works. So, to summarize that up, just like an iPod, you can transfer photos, videos, and music, but not through any library or streaming service. You have to have manual files to do it, but it does work. So let me summarize this video. Okay, so let me summarize for the uses in 2024. So let's talk about what did work. Photos, music, videos. Like I said, you have to manually have the files and you can transfer them across on your Mac or your PC, just like iPods nowadays. So no Apple Music, no App Store. You can jailbreak it and use those app stores if you want to, but I'm not into that at all. Safari did work, but I think it's going to be very limited what websites that will work on it. I was pleasantly surprised about the calendar and iCloud working there. Notes, you can use it, but it doesn't sync with your iCloud. Contacts is there, email works, and iMessages work. So this is not about talking about you buying one to use in 2024. I was just interested to see what features and functionality still works today. So there's a good handful there. As you can probably tell, I've absolutely loved making this video. I adore this device. It only cost me £13 in the end. So I'm not going to sell it straight away. I'm more than happy just to keep it for nostalgic purposes. If it becomes a collector edition, I mean, it's not in the best shape. There's a ding here. There's a ding here. Corners. This corner's got a dink in it. So I would say 7 out of 10 condition wise, so it's not a bad one, but I was pleasantly surprised to see it is 64 gigs, even though it's a 16 gig box. So thank you for watching this episode. Do you remember getting your first iPad? Was it this one? Do you still have a first generation iPad? Do you still use it? Probably not. Tell me your thoughts and feelings. Please like this video and subscribe to me. Please follow me on Tech Hub Wilts UK, which is on Threads and Instagram, and I'll see you on the next video.